Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode 119 of Be With Me. The title of today is Charlie Brown Was Right. That is, there is a good grief, quote unquote, from Charlie Brown, good grief. We're in 7 minutes a day. We're in the Beatitudes right now. What a rich part of scripture this is. Our official verse is Matthew chapter 5, verse 4. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Yesterday we looked at the poor in spirit, and we're addressing the Beatitudes as what is your friend if you are a friend of Jesus. And yesterday, Rock Our World was about this, was poverty, maybe poverty of wallet, but especially poverty of spirit. That is, these are things that can push us closer and join us closer to the Lord. So today, kind of the bad news is we're talking about mourning and tears and grief, that these are things that Jesus wants for us. What? Hold that thought. Why? I'm not going to answer that yet. You got to listen to the rest of the episode. All right. So blessedness is the state of well-being, of relationship with God. Blessed here today are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. All right. So what do we mourn over? Well, things that are grievous. So our world, our politics, our church, our leaders. So stuff that is out there we can grieve over. But also we can grieve over things that are in here. A couple of weeks ago, I went to church and they talked about errors and mistakes rather than use the word sin in a song. And so sin obviously is a big one, and the ripples of sin causing grief. And as we note, it will affect ourselves and it will affect others. Things about our health or aging or frailty or decay or addictions. But the big one is sin, our lusts and anger and tongues and pride and appetites and addictions. And the extent of this is that we should be pretty affected by this. The parallel verse in Luke chapter 6 doesn't use the word mourning. It says, blessed are you who weep now. So to what extent should we be mourning? Kind of like, just kind of a little regretful? Or no, this should go all the way to weeping. All right, so what is so special about weeping? Well, you have to go back to Ecclesiastes. I think it's the best passage in the Bible about this. And listen to this. It talks about going to a funeral rather than going to a wedding. And going to a funeral is better because people are paying more attention. All right, so here it is. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 2. It says, it's better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. Basically, he's saying it's better to go to a funeral than it is to go to a wedding. For this is the end of all mankind, and the living will lay it to heart. So what's special about a funeral is that people lay it to heart. They assess their lives. They assess their sin. They assess what's going to happen when they die. They put stuff to consideration, whereas a wedding's kind of just more of a party. All right. The living will lay it to heart. Sorrow is better than laughter, for by sadness of face the heart is made glad. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning. So the heart of wise goes to funerals and doesn't sit there like a stone, but is moved by it, is grieved by it, considers it, lays it to heart, and then doesn't stop there. That's the beautiful this thing about you're supposed to have sadness of face. Certainly, you're supposed to be struck with the things that are mournful out there and the things that are mournful in here. Make a right assessment of death and sickness and disease and sin. But how is the heart made glad? It says the heart is made glad there. About what? Why? What's so great about mourning and grief? How can grief be good? Let's answer Charlie Brown's question. Is there such a thing as good grief? Well, yes. And that is that he's got this. He's going to fix this. He's going to restore this. So you got to go to the end of the Bible, literally the last page of the Bible, Revelation chapter 21. And listen to this and listen what happens to mourning. So I heard a loud, I saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, behold, the dwelling place of God is with man. So we got that. He will dwell with them, and they will be his people. And God himself will be with them as his God. So that's the main thing. But then here are the details. This is 21:4. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning or crying or pain anymore, for the former things have passed away. And he who was seated on the throne said, behold, I am making all things new. Write this down, for these words are trustworthy and true. So here's the thing about mourning. It's temporary, and it's going to end. When? Well, when we start dwelling place in a better zip code. That is, the dwelling place is with God, and he's going to own us, and we're going to have fellowship with him. He's going to be our leader. This whole thing of this evasive, you are my precious people, will be unhindered. We will be his possession, and there will be no more tears. The lacrimal glands in our faces are going to dry up. There's going to be no more death. And mourning, which we're supposed to treasure right now, a thing that's going to push us to God right now, it's going to be gone, banished, crying, pain. It's going to pass. Where'd it go? We're going to say, I don't know, God, I'll be made new. And we're going to be comforted with this. And Luke says we're going to laugh. So how about now? Okay, you're probably grieving. You've got things that are grievous. You participated in things that have caused grief. Charlie Brown was right. It does exist, and we should be regularly coming to grief now. But don't stop there. Use your tears as markers for desperation and please, P-L-E-A-S, and Lord, please, P-L-E-A-S. We should be mourning here because there's going to be no mourning there. Look ahead to the day of no more mourning. We go from the day of mourning to the day of no more. I can't wait to see you there. I can't wait to grieve with you now, and I can't wait to laugh with you there. I'll see you tomorrow.